Hi, Jitendra. Thank you so much for joining us on Blitz Business. It's a pleasure to have you.
Pleasure here as well, Ashish, and good morning.
Good morning. Awesome. Let's get started. So, first, Jitendra, a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I am in this industry for almost 27 years now. Started with this industry and remained in this industry all through my career. Did my MBA from Fortune Institute of International Business in New Delhi, and I was campus picked even for the summer trainee by a Swiss German company, which is called Kuehne. They are the market leaders. And once I had finished my 8 week summer trainee, in fact, I had already gotten a kind of an offer that once I complete my MBA, I can come and join them. So it was a very good summer training which I had been doing there. So after I completed my MBA, I started my career with the same organization, Kuehne. I was taken in as a management trainee. I remained there for almost 14 years of my career.
Wow.
I set up the entire pharma and healthcare sector for them. I was also in charge for their Latin America, so right from Mexico, Central America to the entire South America, I was taking care of. I spent 6 years with an American company called Bax Global. And after that, for 2.5, 3 years, I moved to Malaysia with the Swiss company called Panalpina. I was there as the country head for marketing and sales there, based out of Kuala Lumpur, taking care of the entire Malaysia peninsula. And later I moved to back to India with a Belgian company. I was managing director for them here for 5 years. And then 1.5 year back, I joined this group where I am the CEO for their Triton Logistics and Maritime, which is the global end-to-end supply chain company. So that's a little bit of my career or my journey, Ashish.
Wow,
So
that's very interesting and very widespread across territories. So, which
yeah,
role you enjoyed the most, apart from the current?
well, I mean, Ashish, I have been enjoying all my roles in different part of the time, you
No,
know.
you have has to be something you have enjoyed the most.
So if you look at it, the maximum, I love traveling. I have a passion of meeting people, reaching out to, entered territories or doing something which is completely what you have not done before, kind of a thing, you know. So I would say the journey which I had where I was taking care of the or setting up the pharma and healthcare and the Latin America or the South America, where I had to travel almost every country in the US, in the North and South America. I think that was something which I enjoyed most because it involved traveling, it involved meeting people, it opened up horizons for me. It also gave me a lot of experience, which comes very handy now when I am in a position which is of a responsibility now. So definitely those years made me what I am today. So or whatever I am today. Let's put it this way.
Wow.
So,
So,
so
tell us something challenging in your past career, which has really shaped you, some sort of learning or something, which, as you mentioned, like it is helping in your current role. So, any sort of experiences or something you can share with us?
so one thing about this industry or the entire logistics, and when I say logistics, this is the complete end-to-end solutions which we provide to the customers. So when you're talking about logistics, it's an always changing model. This is something which cannot be defined as a textbook. So this is very dynamic. This is very disruptive. That is something which keeps on changing with the time. So whatever I have learned, and this is something when I had been moving around different continents, when I was moving around different places in the world, you will see that how logistics work in different part of the entire globe. You know, and that's pretty different. It's pretty different. You know, so how you see a shipment or a transportation happening in your country could be completely different from how it is being done in the other part of the world. That's where you learn, you start picking up things, you start using those best practices, you take those experiences, you take those life cases, and you start implementing into your other roles, and then you start giving solutions to the customers which may or may not be aware of, which is going to help them into their the complete supply chain model, you know, because this industry is a link between my customer and his customer, and that's how we look at it. So those things have really helped me now when I'm looking, or when I'm sitting here now, when I'm building up an organization or I'm running an organization, when I've got people who are providing solutions to the customers. What I have done during my earlier years have given me that experience or that kind of a feel that I can go back and tell them that, look, this is what will work best. I can take challenges. I can experiment now, with confidence.
Okay.
So those things
Okay.
have shaped up well. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the what are the current offerings of your company? Like help us understand the product services what you have as of
Okay. Okay. So, talking about Triton Logistics in Maritime, this is a global end-to-end solutions company. So, when I say this, this is a very vast canvas. The basic thing is that a shipment or any product has to move from a point A to a point B. In fact, it starts even before that. It starts from the planning and the production stage. That how my customer, when he's producing something for his customer, everything has to be planned, right from how the production will happen, after the production where the goods will be stored for a transition period, how it is to be picked up, moved to air freight or a sea freight or a land transport, customs cleared at both ends, at the origin, at the destination, even the destination deliveries which happen. So we provide the complete gamut of activities, or how I put it is that we provide solutions to my customers, and it is a very tailor-made customized solution. So there is no one shoe fit all kind of an approach. So we understand first what is the pain areas of the customers, what they are looking at, where do we think that we can help them improvise their KPIs with their customers. So those are the areas. So we provide those kind of services, and we talk about the general mode of movement. So we do air freight, we do ocean freight or sea freight, we do customs clearance. We have our own license, so we do custom clearance across India and globally. We also do the domestic transportation, so it includes the first mile and the last mile deliveries. What we do. Apart from that, we are also having a very strong network or our own office presence globally. So this means I have got a counterpart also sitting on the other part of the world which can take care of the seamless operations. When I say from the production till the consumption, it involves a lot of people, it involves a lot of places there. So we provide all those services. Now, this Triton Logistics and Maritime is a part of a larger group which is called Abro Group. So we are part of that group. Now, Abro Group has been in this field for almost 88 years now. They started in 1936, and they have a very large operations base. So we as a group are into different activities. So we have a liner division where we represent some of the large shipping lines. We also have got agency divisions where we act as an agent for those shipping lines. We have got one company which is based out of Taiwan, which is a non-vessel operating common carrier. What we call it is an NVOCC. We have got our own containers, both reefers as well as general containers. Then we have got a tie-up with a Dutch company called Dan Hattok, which is mainly for the ISO tanks division for the chemicals. We have another joint venture with a British company called Fender Care. So we do ship-to-ship transfer mainly for oil and gas. And then Triton is kind of a global end-to-end. So this means that we are providing a seamless operation, and we also use a lot of group synergy when it comes to giving a solution to a customer. Our
so I
global holding company is based out of Dubai. So the chairman sits and operates out of Dubai. In India, we are present almost as a group, almost at 30 different locations, almost at every location, if you look at it. Globally, we have, as I told you, my global holding is in Dubai. We have an office in Taiwan, Taipei, in Singapore, Malaysia. We have just bought a company in US, so we are expanding our US footprint. So we just bought a company in the US. So as a group, we are growing very, very significantly at the moment. And the whole idea with Triton Logistics and Maritime is to be close to the customers, because we are providing not only one part of the service, but the complete gamut of services.
so
So,
I can imagine Jitendra in terms of like the parent company. Do they derive a lot of volume for you? As are they your customer? I can imagine like uh,
um, Yes, I mean, as a group synergy, we work with them, and as a group, we have got a very strong backing. Definitely, when it comes to certain solutions, but we all work like an independent companies. So this means that they have got their strengths; they work on that. I've got my strength, where Triton works on that. The whole idea is that when we go to a customer and we give them a solution, whether it comes within the group or we have to go outside the group, but the customer should get what he wants, and that's gives us a bit of an edge to us over others. So we have our strength not only within the group but outside the group, and we have a backing of the group which is pretty large. So this means that if we really want to come out with a solution, it's there, whether inside or outside, but we can bring something on the table which the customer would really love to have. So
So I imagine this is a very operational heavy business.
um, I mean, I would say yes and no. Operational, yes, because at the end of the day, you have to move something from a point A or point B. Not only move it securely, move it fast, make sure that it reaches there. I mean, I'm talking here about different industries, so it's not just about something which is to be moved. It's what kind of product it's moved.
What is
Uh,
the craziest product you have moved, Jitendra?
the craziest product. The two of the most crazy products I can tell you. One is when you are moving a pharmaceuticals. So this means that it's something which is very very sensitive in nature, and I have spent almost 10 years of my life in setting up the cold chain or the pharma and healthcare infrastructure. The unique part of the medicine is that when you go to a chemist shop and you buy a vaccine, he takes it out from a refrigerator and gives it to you. So you think as a consumer that it has been kept into a certain temperature. But have you ever figured out whether it has been kept at the same temperature right from the production to the consumption? You don't know. And the the worst part of the vaccine or pharma is that by looking at it, you cannot make out whether it has been exposed or not. A vaccine still looks like a vaccine. It's
True.
only the efficacy which is not there. It will not be. There will be no use of it. If it would have been expired, but you would not know. Now, that is something which not only makes it important from the point of view of the product, the cost of production, but also from the health or the consumption. I mean, the consumers. Look, we are talking about health of the people. We are talking about life saving, of somebody, and you cannot afford to have it. So the cold chain integrity is the most important part. If a certain vaccine has to be kept under 2 to 8 degree, it means it has to be 2 to 8 everywhere throughout the journey. Not that some a tempo guy takes it from the probably stockist, puts it into 40-degree weather in Delhi and takes it to the retailers, and then he very nicely puts it into the refrigerator, and you and I buy it. So that's something which is very very crazy and very critical for us to ensure. The other thing is the retail and the garments. It is
Really?
very very time sensitive. So this
Why?
means because of fashion. So if there is a
Oh,
fashion, there is a Christmas sale, for example, or there is a Diwali sale, and then there is a typical kind of a clothes which has to come. If it doesn't come in time, it's
oh.
so, and the larger brands, they come out with all those the new fashion launch, the new range of clothes which comes in, they advertise. There's a lot of cost involved into that, and then you see that the shipment hasn't come.
The two examples you gave, Jitendra, it just blows my mind. एक तरफ is pharmaceutical, then there is garments,
And that's
retail,
why it did not.
coming on time and within certain, like
And how
what retail?
and just see how important is it. I mean, you don't imagine that these are billions of dollars of industry. One thing goes wrong, it's like billions and billions of dollars. And we play a very very important but a very small role. I mean, a lot of time people do not pay that significance to this. I mean, imagine the freight spend of a larger organization, a multi-billion dollar organization. A freight spend would be was probably few million of dollars, and one thing goes wrong, you are playing with the whole billions and billions of dollars. Yeah. So that's how critical the logistics or the end-to-end supply chain is.
But I thought you will give me more crazier example like warheads, missiles,
That is disruptions, Ashish. That those are and this is what logistics industry has been uh, has been taking it head on from the times immemorial. I mean, you always have these kind of challenges. You will have disruptions like wars coming in, and the wars are nothing new. Today we talk about the Ukrainian war, you talk about the Black Sea, but the war has always been there. I mean, you go a few years back, there was a world war. Even before, if you go, there was a so it's always happens. You have unrest in the Middle East. You will have unrest into I don't know, South China Sea. These things keep on happening. So these, we take it as a disruption in logistics, and that's where we or our experience comes in, that how we can help our customer to make sure that his goods reaches in time, or I can give him a heads up that this is how he should do his production planning, or he can talk to his customers to plan things out.
But I imagine that's good for your business, right? Your premium will go up because it's like more uncertain scenario. You can charge a little more.
Well, I mean, sometimes it's not just about cost, Ashish. It's also about that how. Yes, you can make money. I do not deny the fact that yes, you can make money. Everybody makes money, and everybody has to be profitable. I mean, that's the essence of a business. But look at from a different aspect is that you have got a customer who is in a distress and he doesn't know what to do now, and that's where we come into play, and we tell them that, look, this is not about cost anymore, but it's more about solution. If it's stuck somewhere, what is the alternative we can make sure that it reaches there? You and I as the consumer, we consume a lot of things. Just imagine, even during COVID, let's take an example which is not so distant past, COVID. The whole supply chain has been managed that the consumer should get what they want. Let's go to the basics, like you got a milk, you got your bread, you got your eggs and everything, door delivered at time. This is also a part of logistics. We managed to do it. Now we can say that yeah, a lot of people made a lot of money in COVID. That's fine, but then the opportunity was not about making money. The opportunity was to be close and make sure that logistics becomes a part of your life. How do we make sure that your life gets better with the logistics? So that was the idea. So yes, I mean, these disruptions, they do give you a leverage, but the leverage comes only to those like us who can really come out with a solution and help the customer, who still thinks about how do we make sure our customers are happy rather than how we can make more money. The money is the outcome, it will happen. But if there is no customer, I mean, there is no money. I mean, let's put it this way.
So in this entire value chain, Jitendra, so anything as a company you guys own, or it is leased out, or it is outsourced, like what is it? Because I imagine it's a very complex value chain, as you just mentioned, from sea, air, land, whatever. I mean, multiple components in it. So as a company, are you focused in one aspect, or do you own these assets when you're delivering one hand to over the other? How does it sort of pan out for you as a company?
Okay. So when I talk from the global end-to-end solutions, when we talk about Triton Logistics and Maritime, let's talk about the company which I am heading. The forwarding or the logistics per se is an asset light model. So this means that we do not own heavy assets. We do not build in a lot of capex. The reason is that we want to be more agile. We want to be more flexible because of the disruptions, because of the uncertainties which come in. I can have something which is built up, which can be of no use. I can build up a very strong distribution center in Russia, say for example, to take care of all the entire Eastern Europe, and the war comes and it's gone. So that's the reason why we want to be more flexible. We want to be more agile everywhere. So that's how we work from the Triton point of view. So we are an asset light model, but we invest very heavily on people because it's very skilled organization. This role is a very skilled role. So those people who can really think and come out with a solution there. The group, when you look at it, the group has got the asset heavy model, because here we are talking about, we have got one ship which we move between India and Middle East Gulf. So it's a weekly service. So it's a 1700 containers ship which we are moving, and we are in plan of expanding more. We are going to be very soon buying more ships. We have got our own containers with the NVOCC division, which I told you. We have got our own general as well as reefer containers. Similarly, we have got certain other infrastructure. So when I talk about the group, they invest into certain assets as well. So we have a very balanced approach within the group. We have got certain areas like Triton, which is a very skilled, very close to the customer, very agile and flexible asset light. Then we have got an asset heavy model, which is where we have our own ships, we have our own boxes. So that's how we are as an organization, and that's the way we will be growing or expanding in future as well.
So where is the opportunity now coming from I'm looking at a startup plan. So for example, now where is an opportunity? Because this looks like a very capex heavy and very experienced people game in terms of, right? So, but as the startup trend is there, the ecosystem is built up. There are logistic company which has come up obviously for sure, but even like in deeper side, going deeper into this space of ships, logistics,
Mhm.
so where do you see the opportunity for upcoming startups or people listening? Where can they actually make a difference, or how should they, if someone wants to enter into this space and build something, uh,
Okay.
what will be that sort of area or the opportunity since you know this space in and out?
Yeah. So let's look at from a very startup. If you are here to get your foothold or start something in this area, as I told you, this the logistics is a very disruptive field. This means that it is very dynamic. It's changing very fast, and one of the area which is really shaping it up very fast is the technological advancements, or how technology is playing a role into this. For a startup, it's, or for any startup, why only this, any startup, the idea is that how can you address a pain point of a customer, and that's how these startups get successful. Any startup which has got or which has understood the pain areas and they have worked on a solution around it, they have been successful. And that is why you will also see that 99% of the startups, they fail, because either they are just copying somebody, or they are trying to build up something which probably nobody wants. So the basic idea of any startup remains very clear, that how you are going to address that pain area. We in the logistics here is there is a lot of pain areas. It's about understanding the customers. Different industry
Top
has got
top
different
three,
areas.
top three pain areas if you can highlight.
So top three pain areas is, of course, you have got the production which is happening. The goods have to be produced. They have to be moved very fast. The space have to be booked, and it has to be moved and delivered to your end customers or end consumers. The the biggest challenge is that how do you ensure that you have got the optimum space, optimum place, and you move it at the right price which the customer is looking for. The second area is the security and safety of your cargo. Different industry has got different requirements, and and there is, again, as I said, there is no one shoe fitting everyone. So industry to industry, there is a different requirement. So anybody who thinks to go and do something at all the industries might fail. The third area is that the geographical coverage, the geographies are very different, and a city in Africa is completely different than a city in America. And if you are really trying to find a solution for a customer, you have to know what that area requires for the logistics. And logistics is logistics. You have to be there. It's not an email which just goes there, So it's physically you have to carry something there. So these are, certain very basic challenges I'm talking about. Very, very basic, but it can disrupt the entire supply chain of an organization. And it has happened. I mean, I've done a lot of work in Africa, say for example. Now Africa is a continent where today there is a road, you can do all the planning, and the next day the rain comes and there is no road at all. How do you do it? So you have to build roads there. I mean, you have to make sure that you also know the seasons there. So this means that if something has to be done before rains, you have to plan the entire logistics when the before the rain hits. Otherwise, there will be no place even to move the cargo. So those are the areas, and this is something where any startup who can go into it, and there are many startups which have been successful in this area. There have been startups who are not doing logistics per se, but they are giving the logistics intelligence. So I can have there have been creations of data loggers, for example, or there have been creation of that. How do you know where your trucks are at any given point of time? It's connected, so you can plan it out. Your supply chain, you can know where the goods are at any given particular point of time. So those are the areas where I think if a startup is really looking towards those pain areas, and they can be successful. And then there are disruptive technologies. For example, I never wanted my goods to come in 2 hours, 10 minutes, for example. I mean, did you and I ever thought about that we should have our milk delivered in 8 minutes? I mean, how does we all used to do a lot of planning, You used to call your grocer an evening before, tell him tomorrow you need this, and all those stuff. Amazon came, they just set your expectations to 24, I mean, 1 day or a delivery, Prime Day delivery, I don't know what, So from a long 6, 7, 8 days courier, it came down to 1 day. And then now people come and they
15
say, we'll
minutes.
deliver in 8 minutes. So if somebody delivers in 15 minutes, you will not take that. You want it
Yeah.
in 8 minutes, whether you want it or not, but you want it in 8 minutes. So those are disruptive. So those needs are created, and the smart people, they created those needs. So a startup can have a lot of ideas when it comes into it, but yes, you need to understand the basics, that where you can change it.
But all these things are making people impatient, I feel.
Exactly, that's
As
what
you
I'm
said.
saying. I mean, that's what I say, the expectation was never this, and it also spoils the customers. And I'm saying
Yeah.
this not only from these 8-minute deliveries, but I'm also talking from my industry perspective. Now the customer expects something which cannot be expected, and it is creating an expectations which is getting difficult to follow, which is difficult to deliver. And it spoils a lot of ecosystem, but then it also puts you more, it makes you more innovative. You want to find things out, that how it is to be done. So I'm also enjoying it, 27 years in this organization. I have seen when the computers have come in, where there were no cell phones. I have also worked during those times when you used to contact your customers when there was no cell phone. There was only landlines. The computers were all those desktops where you can only do probably emails, one email, and everybody has to use that. And we have come a long way where we are just picking up a phone and talking to our customers. So things have changed, and we have adapted ourselves, towards that.
Is there any request you can imagine which has sort of come in? It's like, you mentioned 8 minutes. Someone said, like, get this done within, like, I need from point A to point B within like this X amount of time.
Yeah,
And you're like, what? It's not
e-
even
ex-
possible.
exactly. And then it happens, I mean, I don't know, maybe tomorrow your milk may be 3D printed. That's how it is happening, today. I mean, I'll tell you, Ashish. I remember I was doing a lot on the Latin America, North America. I told you, so this is a completely different time zone. So when a customer calls me up in the morning or in the evening, and they say that, okay, this is a US or a Brazil shipment, and how do you do it? Can you give me an update and all? The expectations was that he will only have the information tomorrow morning, because overnight I would have got something. So the expectation was very clear that yes, you cannot do anything night. You are termed as, they do not have a good service. Somebody else has a good service. Yeah. So you just see there is no difference in the service levels. But you have been branded as not providing. So we also do a lot of these things. We have got our 24/7 operation. So we have got global sales. We have got a complete department which is takes care of the global network. So these guys, they have got shifts where you can call me at 2 o'clock in the night, and somebody will be there to attend your call.
Where is my ship? Where is my shipment?
Where's my ship? Yeah, I mean, what would you do at 2 o'clock in the morning, even if I tell you that it's coming, you just go back to sleep, but then it's the expectations. So, but
So
we are there.
in this entire, Jitendra, your experience, I will ask now a little trickier question. In this entire spectrum of experience of setting up logistics, everything, did you ever feel, I mean, key in terms of, I've done this now, I will now do my own, or you are never on that tangent, or the startup work never sort of bit you, and you're like, nah, I'm happy what I'm doing. No, I want to do. So, what has been your thought process? With a smile, I can see you have thought about it a little. I think.
I'll tell you, Ashish. I mean, if you talk to me as a person, um, I've always believed in getting into the uncharted territories. Always trying to get into something where I have not done it earlier. Let's try and do it. And I have never been skeptical about taking challenges. There's no success or failure, but there is always a learning which happens when you are getting into those kind of areas. So I was well settled into an organization for many years. There was no reason why I should leave that organization, say, for example. Or I have also moved out of the country. I was again very well settled in the country. Why should I change the whole country? So you change the country, you change the company, you go somewhere where you don't even know people. There is there's a different. I mean, one thing which you learn when you work outside is that you deal with different cultures. You deal with different mindset. It gives you a different perspective about things. It teaches you how different people think differently. So those have been the, and then I came back to India again, and I said that okay, I've done this, let me do something else. Yeah? It has always taught me something new, and this industry, I can tell you, it teaches you everything every day. It's, you can never wake up next day and you say I know everything, now let me put it into practice. There's a new challenge waiting for you, so I love it. I have done that, and I will always take up challenges till the time I can work or I am working. um,
So do
so
you
yeah,
plan to take up a challenge and become unsettled and take up challenges?
I do get unsettled. I mean, look at this. I'm still shifting between Bombay, Delhi, for example. Let's say I keep taking over roles where I keep traveling into different areas. I keep traveling abroad. But then also, I would say that at, after a while, what you have learned, it's also very important to give it back to the society. So that is something which is very, very important. You know that you have to impart your knowledge and teach the youngsters, teach them or give them your experience, build them up where you are. So we do a lot of, as an organization, we do a lot of these kind of activities. We hire management trainees from premier institutes. We train them. A lot of them, they come to Triton Logistics and Maritime because I really nurture them. So we have a lot of sessions with the universities. I go out for giving different lectures and all those stuff. I train people. So those are the things which I like. I have built up a team of professionals. So whatever you learn, you give it back, and you also feel, I mean, I feel good about it. I never feel that what I have learned should always remain with me. I keep on process. So that gives you a very strong team with you, and that team comes in where you, when you say that you get, I mean, when I'm unsettled, I take up challenges and I get unsettled. In fact, I don't get unsettled, but I start something where I have a very strong support system now. The team which is there, the organization which is there, it's so strong that even my weirdest of the idea, they want to turn it into a reality. The whole idea is that I want to make sure that my customer's KPI with his customers are matched. As long as they are able to take care of that, I know I'm in the business.
And this sort of reminds me, Jitendra, are there these articles that just came to my head in terms of in shipping like these in Indian Ocean pirates and all. Does this impact your business? Like, is it like a real threat, or has it impacted
Yeah.
you guys? Like, what is that particular piece all about?
It's a real threat. It's a real threat. Eh? So that area where you see that those pirates, I mean, the whole pirate thing has changed. But when it is in a sea and they come in, we call them pirates. But it's real. So these guys are well trained. They've got all kind of latest arms and ammunitions, and they are there. Who, I mean, you must have read in the news also that they have captured a ship where our Indian Navy had gone there for the rescue, and they did it. So yeah, I mean, I'm so proud of India when I read those kind of news, in the paper. But these are very real threat, and these are the real threats. I mean, keep aside the politics for the time being. I mean, that is something which we don't want to get in. But the real threat is to the business. The real threat is to the lives of those sailors or those people on the ship which are there. There is billions of dollars of goods which are there. There could be drugs which is going to a hospital. There could be the other thing. There could be nutritional items going for a baby food, for example. Everything is disrupted, so it's a real threat. And that's where we as a logistics organization, we also owe up a lot of responsibility to how make sure that we provide a secure, a safe area or a transit, or we give a heads up much before the goods are moved and reroute it to a different area or take a longer course. The money and everything takes a backseat at that point of time. The whole idea is that how do we make sure that our the lives are secure and the products are secure.
But who all are these people, and how do they get such resources, ammunition, latest technology, training? I mean, there must be some organized thing to it,
Again,
right? It's not some two random people
it's
who are
very,
just here with guns
very,
and
very,
trying to take over.
it's very political, Ashish. It's very political. So
It's
maybe our podcast should not venture into that area, because you and I can have always a discussion offline. But this is not logistics. I mean, these guys are trained. That's what I said.
yeah.
So we have to be careful when it comes to our. for us, it is important that the heads up to my customers are well in time. We are the one who know it first, so it's our responsibility to make sure that our customers are protected. The intelligence should be there with them, that what to do, what not to do. Many times they come to us for a solution, and that's where we, as an organization, we always stand by the customer and we say that, okay, this is how we will make sure that your goods are protected safely, the lives are protected, and we will provide or route this shipment to your final destination through some other area. So that's what we do.
Wonderful, wonderful. Great, Jitendra. Thank you so much for your time and such an interesting space. Never thought about logistics in this fashion. You covered full depth and breadth about it. I mean, it's fascinating at the same time, sounds very challenging, and which you
Yeah,
guys are
yeah,
doing
it is.
a good
It
job.
is.
Anything you want to share, Jitendra, to our listeners?
I would just say to all my listeners, in fact, the youngsters, that take up the challenge, and this logistics industry is something which keeps on changing, and it can never be the same year after year. But one thing is for sure, this industry will never die, because the here we are connecting lives, we are connecting people, we are creating values. That is something which is never going to die. Come to this space. I know it's challenging, but I'm sure the minds who really want to venture out, who really want to do something different, this is the space. And uh, come to me for anything, or come to this industry, and I'm sure that we'll make ourselves very proud, or our country very proud into this area. So thank you, Ashish. Thank you so much for your time. It's been really pleasure talking to you.
Likewise. Thank you, Jitendra.